I,
Hi, everyone. This is Mary Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate, and I have with me, like my brother in Africa, is who I have with me right now, Dr. Osita Aniemeka, and Osita is the founder, co-founder, I believe, and chancellor of the Sub Saharan Open University, and I serve under him on the governing board of the Sub Saharan Open University. And along with that connection, we both serve on the Youthgether Global board of directors, governing board, and Osita is the chairman of that organization. And so that is why we are together here today to talk to you about the second anniversary event that's coming up in August for this organization, and how we want to encourage you that if you're a young person, and we're going to qualify young as if you think you're young, okay? That's the way we're going to go with that. Then to come together and help us make a difference in the world here. So Dr. Aniemeka, thank you.
thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Lady Mary Kurek. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go with that. So we have been together for quite some time working on projects, mentoring, entrepreneurship, development, course development, trying to get some laptops right now into Nigeria. So if you're hearing this and you have old laptops, we need to talk to you. But beyond that, we want to try to help the youth of Africa and all over the globe who needs that support, the motivation, to help to understand the sustainable development goals, and to help take care of their own communities. And so we're all about development of youth and leadership. And I want to kind of give the floor to Dr. Aniemeka here and let him talk about the beginnings of Youthgether and where we have come to now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. Because we don't have all the time, it's going to be quick, so that we can touch on quite a couple of things today. On the United Nations 75th International Youth Day on August 12, 2020, the Center for SDG Global Education USA, the Sub Saharan Open University, and His Royal Highness Sheikh Usman Chindo Yamusa II Foundation came together to enact action for engaging youth in global development, and Youthgether Global was born. As the gathering of the youth for the UN Decade of Action, Youthgether Global is deploying 4 cardinal mandates of empowerment, exchange, education, and entrepreneurship, which we call the 4 E's, to develop young people and strengthen their inherent capacities and qualities for purposeful leadership. What we have done is that in these 2 years, we have gathered kids from all over the world, training, capacity development, mentoring, empowerment, because we know that in the next 10 years, while we rush towards the end of the decade, we need very strong young people, boys and girls, to carry the mantle, because after that, when it continues, we'll be able to leave them alone to say, do this on your own because it is your future. So this year's International Youth Day, the UN is focusing on fostering intergenerational solidarity between generations as a necessary tool to ensure an inclusive and sustainable recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. To the UN, it is especially important to recognize and address these age-related barriers to build back better in a manner that leverages all generations and strengthen them with adequate knowledge. So to make this come true, to make this happen, this year's International Youth Day is themed Intergenerational Solidarity, Creating a World for All Ages. Amazing, because looking at it, we also know that Youthgether Global will play a very important role in that. So for us, we are joining on the 12th of August 2022 to first commemorate the International Youth Day and also celebrate our 2nd anniversary, because that day will be 2 years old. Youthgether Global will be 2 years old. So on Friday, August 12, 2022, Youthgether Global will celebrate its second anniversary while commemorating the 2020 United Nations International Youth Day. For Youthgether Global, our anniversary theme, borrowing from the UN theme, is engaging youth through the generations, implications for sustainable Africa. And we are deploying our 4E mandate to bring the youth to contribute their astute and impeccable skills towards development of Africa, one generation at a time. Thank you, Mary.
That's great. That's like a speech. You're just like, just rolls right off of your tongue. I think that this event is special in a lot of ways, as you mentioned. It's kind of a dual event. It's Youthgether and it's also UN Youth Day. And so what we want to do is celebrate, but we also want to let people know a little bit about who we are and what we're doing, because we do want to encourage participation and some fresh blood and to understand kind of where we're going. Because if you want to jump on a bandwagon of an organization that's going to make a big difference in youth development, this would be the one. This would be that bandwagon to jump on. So,
right.
Dr. Aniemeka, tell us a little bit about the agenda for that day. How is it going to kind of flow so people have an idea? Who might they meet?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's really very, very important. Thank you so much. Now, we have a very, very huge program. We are actually starting early because for that day, we have a commemoration, we'll have celebration. So on Friday, August 12, 2022, we'll launch at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will take us through a plethora of programs. Our Secretary General, Ms. Shefi Motlang, will do the introductions and openings at 8:30 on the dot. We expect everybody from everywhere in the world to join at that time and then follow through. Then Madam Chancellor, the lady who is at the top echelon of Youthgether Global, will actually give us a bird's eye view, what you might call introduction to the 2020 International Youth Day. That will touch on all what the UN is doing. Remember, Dr. Adele Kika, the Chancellor of Youthgether Global, is also the Executive Director of the Center for SDG Global Education in USA. And then Professor Carlos Shode, who is the Group CEO for ACRIS Summit Group, will be talking about global development and aging. And we'll be touching on youth and generations. After Carl, Ambassador Ghazala Khan, a mission head for the Federation of International Gender and Human Rights in Pakistan, will follow on the same topic, giving the female perspective and the Asian perspective. And then I, as chairman of the Governing Council for Youthgether Global, and the president of the Sub Saharan Open University, one of the three institutions that came together to enact the Youthgether Global. I will be talking about youth development in the last 2 years, Youthgether and youth development in the last 2 years. Then there is a specialist in education, the CEO for Educate First in the United Kingdom, Sufyan Christian. His topic will be called to fostering intergenerational solidarity between generations in Africa, the role of the youth. So his place will be to talk about what the youth can do to bring intergenerations together and form solidarities. Now, we are also moving on to other aspects of the day, because Ms. Lillian Treasure, who is full-time faculty in the Natural Resources Institute of the University of Greenwich, UK, will also follow suit to talk with Sophie and Kristen, bringing the female perspective to the intergenerational solidarity between generations in Africa, the role of the youth. After that, Mark Quinn Iwa Jungwa, the man who runs the Schengen Story Media in Milan, Italy, will be talking about youth and ageism. in Africa, preparing the future for now, preparing for the future now, sorry. So his own will be looking at young people, aging, and Africa, and what role we can play to help the youth prepare for the future today. Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez, the president of Miss CARICOM Foundation, and then the visionary for Building Back Better in the United States, we'll be talking about fashioning youth through engagement and empowerment models for the Decade of Action. And then the director of programs for Youthgether Global will now take the next segment. She will anchor the Youthgether Global country liaisons. They will be bringing African voices to the program. So we're going to have Tobias Naruki from Kenya, Enos Ibas, United Kingdom, Simon Peters, Nigeria, Cornelius Chimwane, Kenya, Alhassan Koroma, Sierra Leone, Deng Daniel Ngo, South Sudan, Pauline Chiripanyanga, Zimbabwe, Godwin Mwinga, Zambia, and Mbili Mahua, South Africa, and the youngest amongst them all, the one that we call the star of Africa, Namara Luansa from Tanzania. And then the man of the moment, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dennis Antwine, so a celebrated author and the chairman at Advisory Council Center for SDG Global Education in USA, will be talking about building back better, engaging African youth for future generations. And then for wrap up of the whole program, the person who ends the program professionally, a woman who is very diverse and a professional in ageism too, Mary Kurek, our director for building institutions and networks in Youthgether Global, will come up with a summary and the outcomes. And then I will close by thanking everybody and appreciating everybody for coming. And the program will come to an end with a prayer that the next year for Youthgether Global will be more successful than the first 2 years. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. This kind of got its heart and soul started in the middle of a pandemic. So it's amazing what all has happened here. And I want to tell people that one of the best parts of these events that we do is will be the people that you meet. And so a lot of times there's going to be a chat that's running along the side of these Zoom webinar types of things. And then we usually will stream it or at least it will be recorded so other people can see it later. But the best part of this is what happens in the chat to me as people are speaking and you get tidbits of information, then you can go back and ask questions or say, hey, I want to talk to you later. I'll meet you on LinkedIn after,
Absolutely.
Like I have had more interaction with people at these events doing that, just listening to what's being said, understanding that whatever they're talking about, there's usually a gap there somewhere. And in that gap is where you can kind of engage for more conversation. And so if you're the kind of person that looks at this as being an opportunity to do more networking, you're going to get a lot of good networking, and the actual quality of people that you're going to be able to converse with and network with is just amazing. You're not going to find this type of group anywhere else, really. So just know that it's free. So it's not something that's being, we're charging for. So definitely think about joining us that day. And, we'll take breaks. I promise. We'll maybe take a break or two in between. So there's a way to register. There is, I believe, an email on the flyer that we will put up for you, but we'll make sure it's clickable when you see this interview here. If you'll go to www.frontrunnersinnovate.com, if you're seeing this on YouTube, go there. You're going to see this interview. We'll embed it and we'll have the link for you that'll be clickable. You can go right straight to it and register for the event. So we appreciate it. Dr. Aniemeka, thank you so much.
Thank you.
My good friend Osita.
So, thank you. Thank you
very
Mary.
much. We appreciate it, everybody.
It's always a pleasure working with you anytime in my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.